What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, successors? Y'all, welcome to another episode of Speak Your Success in the Morning. Today is Thursday, May 15th, 2025, y'all, and it's a great day to be alive. I'm Jonathan Jones, and y'all, we're back. We've been gone for a little bit, been gone for a small, brief minute, had a little situation, had a little stomach bug, but we're back, okay? We're back. And y'all know we can't kick off the show without bringing out my co-host. So come on out, producer Britt. How we feeling? How we doing? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
We're working through it. We
Mm-hmm.
working through it. Modern medicine, is one of those things that can really help us out. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you gotta know what can help you. You gotta know what you need. And yeah, I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Good.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. So you watch any games last night? Anything like that?
No, I didn't watch any games. I just got sleep. So, nope. What about you?
Okay. Yeah, I was in that boat too. I was in that boat too because I rolled over this morning. Alarm didn't even have to wake me up. I just said, "Wow, it's time to get back to it. It's time
Mm.
to get." Speaking of getting back to it, in the
Mm-hmm.
chat, the Lucid experience, the audio sounds better, 100%.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, no games last night. But we'll talk a little bit about the highlights a little bit later, maybe. But yeah, I'm just really excited and ready to dive in because got to make up for a little bit of lost time. Make up for a little bit of lost time for the people.
Feel you on that. Feel you on that.
Most definitely. And then also, what today is Thursday, so we got to have law talk with attorney Fred Jones on the show. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to get into some great information, some information that you can use and apply, and pass and share on to friends, family, etc. So yeah, this is going to be a great show today. It's going to be a great show.
All right.
All right. All right. So now we'll go ahead and jump. We'll go ahead and jump and go ahead and get ready to go straight from the source. And I'm looking forward to getting into this text because y'all, it's been a couple of days, like I said. But today we're going to come to you from John chapter 8. And I'm going to read John chapter 8. We're going to go verses 3, and then we're just going to go down. But the first thing I want to talk about, just before I get into the text, is that the thing that we have to be careful of, and the thing that we always want to never forget, right? Is we want to never forget where God brought us or where God delivered us from. And it can, I mean, it can be easy. Yeah, I'm talking about it can be real easy uh, to where, you once were in a state to where this was your normal, right? To maybe where dysfunction was your normal, struggle was the normal, just operating and living a life. For me, I know it was living a life in sin, and it was normal, right? S- But then when I ended up getting to the point to where I got saved and I began to understand and I began to learn more, then I began to realize more about like what grace looks like, right? So today in our text, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up and get into it. So I'm gonna start from verse 3. And it said, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery, and they made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now, what do you say? They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him, right? And the Pharisees are the people who were considered to be the ones who always operated by the law, right? Always operated by the book. And if you know about people operating by the book, there's the law, and then there's also like where there's some grace. But it's oftentimes it's one or the other. Okay. And then in verse 6, it says, they were using the question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and then started to write on the ground with his finger. And then when they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw the stone at her. And again, he stooped down and then wrote on the ground. So some theologians and some educated people in the Bible, they often make reference that maybe Jesus bent down and wrote into the sand What were some of their sins, right? What were some of the things that they used to do before they were in this higher seat or this higher position of power to begin to point down and judge other people in this way? And then verse 9 reads, "At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left and with the woman still standing there. And then Jesus straightened up and asked her, 'Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?' She said, 'No, sir.' 'Then neither do I condemn you.' Jesus declared, 'Go now and leave. Go now, leave your life of sin.'" So the reason why I wanted to just break down that text and really get into that is because, like I said before, whatever your sin is, whatever your struggle is, or whatever that struggle was, right? Don't forget that God brought you from that thing, that God delivered you from that thing, because there's going to be people around you, there's going to be people that you're going to come in contact with, there's going to be people that you're going to meet, and they may struggle with what you once struggled with. And though this thing might not be a struggle for you anymore, like we can't be so quick to cast judgment on others, right? So we want to watch where we place our judgment. We want to watch how we place our words and who we put our words on, because at the end of the day, we all are sinners in need of grace. And if we know that we're in need of grace, then we also want to be the ones to give grace, right? So y'all, that is our time today from straight from the source. We can never go wrong when we break down just the teachings of Jesus and seeing how he always modeled for us, right? You see, he didn't get frustrated, he didn't get angry, he just bent down and then he began to write something in the sand. What did he write in the sand? We will never know. You can use your philosophical imagination, your biblical imagination. But imagine if what he wrote in the sand, imagine if you were one of the Pharisees and what he wrote in the sand was one of the things that you were struggling with. And you were pointing out somebody else's struggle that was the same as yours 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, right? Would that then make you want to put down your stone? Would that then make you want to walk away? So, family, that's straight from the source today, coming out of the book of John, chapter 8. That was verses 1 through 11. So, the challenge for you today: be quick. Be quick to drop your stone and be quick to give grace versus being quick to judge and being quick to, hold somebody to a standard that you might not have even always operated under or by. Family, that's straight from the source. I'm Jonathan Jones, and we'll be right back with more Speaker Success in the Morning. Looking for an exciting workout that's not only fun but makes you feel alive? It's time to step up your fitness. Extreme Hip Hop with Treese, that's your answer. This isn't your typical workout. Extreme Hip Hop with Treese is an energizing step workout that combines simple moves with fresh beats, both old and new, creating an atmosphere that makes fitness exciting. With a focus on all elements of fitness: cardio, muscular conditioning, flexibility, and balance, you're guaranteed to burn calories and get addicted to the energy. Extreme becomes your safe space, which is a welcome environment where everyone is accepted. It's where you can let go of those worries of the world and focus on getting healthy. Ready to get energized? Join Extreme Hip Hop with Treese today. All right, all right, all right. Family, welcome back. Welcome back to Speak Your Success in the Morning. Today is Thursday, May 15th. We're 10 minutes after the hour. And y'all, it is going to be a great show. Like I said before, producer Britt, come on out. Come on out.
Hey, hey, hey.
What it do? What it do?
I'm here, man.
Hey,
That's right.
rocking
I'm
and
here.
rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We back. We back. We back.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready to go ahead and dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, all right. And like I said before, we have attorney Fred Jones on the show again with us. And y'all, it's always good to be able to have some legal counsel. And this is one thing my dad told me. My dad always told me. He said, "Son, there's a couple people that you always want to be able to call. You always want to be able to call an attorney or a lawyer, You always want to be able to call a doctor. These are some people that you just need to have in your corner because legal advice and health advice. These things are always just essential. So now we're gonna get ahead and ready to welcome him back. Dad, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning. Good to be here. Good to see you all.
Yes, always great to have you on. Mhm.
Good to be here.
Hi, Jonathan.
Excellent. Excellent, Dad. So yeah, what we were, well, when I talked with you offline, and I know when we talked the last week about the gentleman who unfortunately lost his life due to police brutality, with the three police officers who were able to get off on the verdict of being not guilty. One thing that I and producer Britt wanted to talk about to just really educate the audience was just really getting to the nitty gritty of, in these situations when individuals are pulled over, particularly black and brown individuals, when they're pulled over at a routine stoplight. How do we help them make it home, Dad? How can we help them make it home from your perspective, from what you know as an attorney? I'm gonna pass you the mic.
Yeah, that's a very, very important question, and and that's a real question, right? That was a fear that I've always had, even when you and your brother were growing up. I would always just be apprehensive of getting that phone call. I've been stopped by the police. I've been stopped by the police because I wanted you to make it home alive. But if you want to get home alive, anyone, when you're dealing with the police, I want you to remember this acrostic: alive. ALIVE. That's what we're going to break down today. ALIVE. The first thing I want you to do is acknowledge the authority of the police. Okay. So often, sometimes people are like, yeah, I ain't got to do what you say. Robert, they going to run their mouth and all this. Why are you stopping me? And all this kind of stuff. That's foolishness. You're asking not to get home alive, right? You got to acknowledge the authority, and then just pull over, and then turn your engine off and keep your hands visible on the steering wheel and show that you recognize the authority without being aggressive. That's the first thing you want to do. Acknowledge the authority. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, you want me to rock and roll on through these because I
I,
could.
I
I will.
thought you. I thought you. I thought you was about to just roll through it. So okay. So first thing we need to know and understand is acknowledge. So be aware of the situation. And be aware of who you're communicating with, and also be aware of the end game goal. Right. You want to make it home.
There you go. There you go. You got to
Okay.
acknowledge. You got to acknowledge the authority. Okay. That's step number one. Okay. Number
Okay.
two, you want to inform before you move. Okay. What do I mean by the inform before you move? Well, before you go to reaching for something in the glove compartment or reaching in your pocket, you want to say, Officer, my hands are up here and I would like to get my license in my glove compartment. You want to inform before you make any move. You don't want to make any sudden moves or jerk or turn and do something like that because they might think you're reaching for a weapon or something like that. Okay.
For
Inform
sure.
before you move. Okay. Inform before you move. Okay. Now, the second thing that you want to do, okay, I jumped down to the inform before you move before I got to the L. Okay. Alive is A, acknowledge. The second thing you want to do is listen carefully.
Mm,
Listen carefully. Okay. Don't interrupt the officer. Listen to what they're saying. Wait to speak until you're spoken to and then respond calmly. Okay. None of this, just getting your point out and not listen to what the officer has to say. So A, acknowledge. L, listen carefully. I, inform before you move, because the goal is what? You want to get home alive. And guess
yeah.
who else wants to get home alive? The
The
officer wants to
officer.
get home.
The officer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you see?
Mm-hmm.
So that's two people that want to get home alive, and because there's a wife and family on the other end. Sometimes we put ourselves in a position thinking we're the only one who wants to that are at risk, and we don't oftentimes realize the risk that the officers are dealing with as well. Okay, so that's the I. Inform before you move. Now, the next thing you want to do is keep your voice calm. Keep the voice
Mm.
calm.
Okay. Okay.
That's a
Keep your
biggie right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's one of those things to where it can easily elevate the energy of a situation just from because a routine traffic stop like we know especially if this is at night and depending on whatever the situation is, a cop is not just coming up just okay, this is gonna be fine. Like they're just ready to, handle the situation however they need to handle it. So, keeping that in mind. Like, yeah, meeting them with frustration or meeting them with anger, definitely, would create, what's the elevated plane, I guess we could say, or elevated, you know,
Yeah, elevated situation. I like
yeah.
to tell you, I told you guys, the side of the road is no place to try your case.
Mm, yeah.
You don't, especially if you're on a dark road someplace, or even if you're on a well lit road someplace.
Yeah.
Don't raise your voice and argue your case out on the streets, because that's not the place to argue your case. And if you do that, you're going to find yourself in a combative situation. And the officer, you got to remember point number one. Point number one is authority. Respect the fact that you've been stopped by an authority. I think, John, that's something that a lot of times people miss, that the fact that the police officer's job, the number one job of a police officer, is to take control of the situation. And if you're out
Mm,
there raising your voice and being combative with the police, then they're gonna not feel that they have control, and they're gonna put you in control, because they have the authority and the backing of the law to do that. So I would
mm,
love to hear what some of the people in the comment audience have to say about situations with the police, because maybe some of them have a question that they would like to ask that I can answer for them, because we run into this often, and we escalate situations out on the side of the road. And the moment the situation it gets escalated, you lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna
mm,
lose. And the law is gonna back the police officers who are out there for our safety. Okay. So that's very important right there. So V is voice is calm, not combative. Okay. Voice is
mm.
calm and not combative. All right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. 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 Because I mean, even it's even interesting as you're saying these things. Because I mean, these are things that's very important, and these are things that can help de-escalate a situation in other areas as well, right? Like in relationships, and just in communication with somebody else, to where you don't want to elevate. Or raise the tension of a situation. So yeah, this definitely makes sense. And then chat, if y'all have any questions regarding this topic, or if y'all have any thoughts regarding this topic, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. Because just like Attorney Fred said, that he's willing to answer those questions, and we can get further insight from his legal perspective. But Dad, go ahead. So we got the A for acknowledge the authority, right?
Uh-huh.
We
Right.
got the A for acknowledge the authority. Then the L, we want to listen.
Listen
we want
carefully.
we, we want to listen carefully, right? Listen carefully, listen attentively. A L I, remind me of the I just lost it.
Inform before you move. Inform.
Inform
Okay.
before you move.
Before you grab for your wallet, before you reach in the glove compartment, officer, may I? Matter of fact, inform and ask permission.
uh, yeah. Yeah, that's one I like. That's one of those things to where, and I know, like you made mention of earlier, like growing up, and you had two boys. You had me and my older brother Freddie, and we're 2 years apart. And that was one thing that I was always just nervous about. When an officer pulled up on me, I'm always just here with my hands on the wheel. I'm just waiting till they ask me for what they asked me for. I'm just taking my time, and just communicating clearly. I just made sure I communicated clearly with the officer, because just like you said, I mean, a lot of times when I got pulled over, it was in dark areas. And go ahead.
And when you do that, and when you got your hands on the wheel like that, or when you have your hands up like that, that sends a big old message to the officer that this person knows how to be approached by a police officer. You're sending a signal, and that signal is part of what keeps you alive. When the officer sees your hands up there, oh, this person knows how to show respect. This
Mm,
person knows what to do. Officer, may I get my license out of the wallet, out of the glove compartment? Yes, you may. Okay. All right. I'm dealing with somebody with some sense here. It sends a real
mm.
big signal.
Okay, okay. And then Dad, go. You can continue to go ahead, because you hit the A, you hit the L, you hit the I.
Yeah. And then V is voice is calm. Voice is calm.
Mm,
not
Mm,
combative, okay? Not combative. Don't raise your voice and argue on the side of the road because the street is not a courtroom. So you want to don't escalate the situation, okay? Don't escalate it. All right. Now, the E is watch this. Exercise your rights wisely. Well, yeah, you got rights. I got a right. Why you stop me? What you pulling me over for? You got the right to ask all that, but you want to exercise your rights wisely. You have the
mm,
right. How you use them matter. You
mm,
also have the right to be wrong. But the most important right you want is the right to live. If you're being detained or arrested, respectfully ask, "Am I free to go?" Or ask, "I'd like to speak with an attorney." Okay, so
mm,
exercise your rights wisely. Okay, wisely is so important. So the goal is not to win the moment, but to survive the stop and make it home alive.
mm.
ALIVE. Okay. Acknowledge the authority, listen carefully, inform before you move, voice is calm, exercise your rights wisely. If you do that, you're subject to make it home, and it'll probably be a pretty good day for you and the officer. Then you can phone Fred later, call your lawyer later.
Yeah, because you can go home and make the call because you made it home, right? And then you can communicate your story, and then y'all can proceed legally however you decide to proceed. But you get that opportunity versus
Exactly.
somebody hearing a recording and you know and then it ended up on the news or something like that, which is extremely unfortunate every time.
Yeah, because you can't defend yourself if you're dead.
And that also is a fact.
And
You never can.
and there's only going to be one perspective if you're dead, and that's the perspective of the surviving officer. So this business of "I was right, they were wrong, I was right," it ain't about being right, it's about being alive. So I think we got to stop doing stupid stuff and thinking that somebody's going to come argue for us after we've popped off or had a hot temper because an officer stopped us. They may have stopped us for a little or no reason at all, but the main thing is you don't want to get out there and argue your case. Okay, if you want to make it home alive, do the things that I just asked. But if you forget some of these points, just remember this: just don't talk. Be don't
Don't talk. Don't talk.
no, don't talk. Don't talk. Just follow the instructions. If they ask for your license and insurance, give them the license. Officer, I respectfully would like to remain silent. Officer, I respectfully would like to remain silent.
Mm. What? Oh man, I want to. We're about to get ready to go to break, and I want to ask a question, but we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back from break, we're gonna get into a few scenarios,
Sure.
Attorney Jones, and then we want to hear your legal perspective based on your experience, and we want to be able to really share it with the audience today, so we can all walk away with a little bit more experience and with a little bit more information. And once again, with a little bit more growth. But, family, we'll be right back with more speaker success in the morning after this brief break. Do you want to feel confident in your skin every day? Introducing Skin Rituals, a luxury home based skin studio that specializes in hyperpigmentation, acne, and personalized treatments for every skin type. Owned by solo esthetician and registered nurse Courtney Durham, Skin Rituals is all about curating facial treatments designed just for you. Hydrate, brighten, nourish, and soothe your skin with expert care and cutting edge techniques that promote natural healing. Whether you're looking for a relaxing facial or a transformative chemical peel, Skin Rituals offers results driven treatment tailored to your needs. With over 7 years of experience, Courtney's goal is to help you safely achieve the healthy skin that you deserve. At Skin Rituals, we believe that taking care of your skin is an investment in your confidence. Book your appointment today and leave every session feeling grateful for the choice that you made to take care of yourself. Skin Rituals, because your skin deserves the very best. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Speak Your Success in the Morning. Currently, we are 25 minutes after the hour, and it is Thursday, May 15th, 2025. Welcome back. I hope everybody is doing well. Man, we missed y'all. We missed y'all. We missed y'all this week. But like I said, we're back, feeling a little bit better. But hey, y'all, let's go ahead and get ready to dive back in with attorney Fred Jones, and we're gonna go into this segment, and we're gonna just share a few scenarios. And just like I said, want to hear your perspective, and want to hear your advice, attorney Fred. So the first scenario that I wanna attack here, and I'm just gonna read it. So the first scenario is this is an unmarked vehicle. This is Jamal from the east side. Last month around 11:30 p.m. He said, I was driving home from my second job when an unmarked car with flashing lights pulled up behind me on a particular dark stretch of County Road 8. There were no street lights, no other cars, and the nearest gas station was about a mile ahead. I felt uncomfortable by stopping immediately. What should I have done? I ended up pulling over right away, but the officer seemed agitated that I took even a few seconds to respond to his lights. Attorney Jones.
Wow, that's a tough situation right there. Um, I think you did a reasonable thing in pulling over in a dark road there. Uh, uh, and if the officer seemed agitated, I would have done my best. Okay, first off, you pulled over. I'm going to say good move, not necessarily the best move. If you felt like a light was about a mile away, and especially if you by yourself, I'm thinking I may would have put on my flashers. I
Mm,
would have slowed down and I would have eased on down the road because the officer can get on their speaker and say, pull over, pull over. He can say something to you, to you, he can talk to you. But I would have put on my flashes to acknowledge that I saw him, slowed down, and if I saw a light up the road further, I would have driven to the light if it's 11:30 at night and if I'm in a county road. I would have done that. But the fact that you
mhm,
pulled over and the officer seemed agitated, I would have done exactly what I just shared earlier. I would have stayed very calm. I would acknowledge that he is the authority. And when he came to my vehicle, I would have listened to what he had to say. I would have informed him of the fact that I just got off work. I'm a little concerned. I would have said, "Can I get my license?" I would inform him of everything that I'm doing. Okay, and then I would have definitely kept my voice calm, and I would
mhm.
have uh, do whatever he asked me to do at that moment.
So you're saying with him putting on the flashers, is this, so this is making a signal that I'm not just, I'm not just blowing you off, right? I'm just I'm aware of you, and then so the flashers and slowing down is signaling to the officer, hey, I recognize you. I'm acknowledging you in this.
You acknowledging the officer, you acknowledging the
Mm,
light, you acknowledging the presence. Okay, I
okay.
would have put my flashers on, slowed down, and eased on.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because
Yes,
that's man, that's scary though. To be in a place to where it's dark, and even if it's a county road or not, that's a scary situation. To where you're driving down and you don't see the next light. Nobody wants to be in that situation, because just like you said, nobody can attest to what happened there in that
yeah,
time if something was to go left. Okay,
yeah.
all right. So here we go. Scenario number two. Scenario number two. This is the escalating traffic stop.
Okay.
So Keisha's in Riverdale, and she says, I was pulled over for allegedly rolling through a stop sign. When the officer approached me, I had my license ready, but when I reached for my registration in the glove compartment, the officer immediately tensed up. He put his hand on his weapon and started shouting at me to show my hands. My 10-year-old daughter was in the back seat and she started crying. What happened here? What should I have done differently? And the situation eventually calmed down, but it was traumatic for the both of us.
She should have acknowledged the officer's presence. She should have Listen very carefully to what he was telling her to do. And then when she reached for a license, she should have informed the officer before she made that move. Okay. Inform the officer before she made that move. And even if the baby is crying in the back, in that particular moment, you let the baby cry
Mm,
and you ask the officer, Officer, may I attend to my child?
mm.
Get permission. Don't just say, I'm a mama and I'm going to take care of my baby. No, you want to stay alive and you want the baby to be alive and have a mama, and the officer is tense already. You've already acknowledged that. You saw that. So where this went south is when the driver reached for her wallet or reached for the glove compartment and didn't inform the officer of what she was doing. You need to
So
inform
even
the officer.
so even though she knew what the officer was already going to ask for, she knew the officer was going to pull up license and registration. We still wait. We still follow the instruction because I mean the officer may not even need that, right? Or we just want to we just want to operate under their authority just to be safe.
You want to operate under their authority and be safe. You don't want to assume anything when you're out on the side of the road and having an encounter with the officer. The first thing you want to do is acknowledge their authority. Remember what you said you did always? You put your hands on the wheel.
Hmm.
That's acknowledging their authority. And you be still, okay? And then you listen. Don't you
Hmm.
start leaning into the glove compartment or looking in your purse. No, you listen, okay? You listen and then inform. If he wants something, I want your driver's license. It's on the back seat. Well, that'd be a weird place for your driver's license. Or the driver's license is in my visor above my head. My driver's license is in
Hmm.
my visor. Okay. May I get that? You want to get permission. You want to inform that officer. Okay.
Fair
And then
enough. Fair enough.
keep your voice calm. If
Hmm.
you got 5 children in the back seat crying, you stay calm in order to protect those children.
That that makes sense. That makes sense. CWQ said made the officer aware of what she was doing, and CWQ also said great convo. CWQ, thank you so much for joining us here. Speaking Success in the morning. Glad to have you. And to CWQ as well as anybody else in the chat. Once again, if you all have any questions or comments about this particular topic, please go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we can get those questions answered live with Attorney Fred Jones here today on Thursday Law Talk with Attorney Jones. All right, Dad. This is good. This is good. I got another one for you. I got another one for you. So
Right?
is a sophomore. Xavier is a sophomore at State University. He went on to say, last weekend, my friends and I were driving back to campus after a late night study session at the 24-hour cafe. It was around 1 a.m. when we were pulled over. The officer approached and immediately asked, where are you boys coming from? Where are you headed? Have you been drinking? Before even telling us why we were stopped, there were four of us in the car, all black male students. The officer made us all show IDs and kept questioning us about drugs and alcohol, even though we explained that we were just studying. The stop lasted almost 40 minutes while they ran all of our IDs. Was this legal, and how should we handle this kind of questioning next time?
Well, I'm not sure if I have enough information to know if the stop was legal. Uh, I don't know what the officers saw or observed to make the stop. Number one.
Mm,
Okay, so uh, uh, they may not have told them why they stopped them. Okay, number one. Number two, four individuals in a car at 1 o'clock at night, regardless of where you're coming from, a study session or from a prayer meeting. I'm not sure how relevant that is to the stop.
mm,
Okay. I'm not sure how relevant that is. That if you make it so you're being stopped for a traffic violation, no matter where you're coming from. Okay. That's number two. Number three, if the officer stops you and asks for driver's license and ID, give it to them. Give them the
mm,
driver's license, give them the ID, give them the insurance. Okay, just comply, acknowledge, give them what they ask for. Okay, and after that, If they start asking more questions, remember you
Mhm.
have the right to remain silent.
Hmm.
After you've given your ID and you've acknowledged the officer, you can be silent. Officer, I choose not to talk. Officer, I wish to remain silent. If it keeps pressing you, officer, do I have permission to speak to my attorney?
Hmm.
And at that moment, the questioning should stop, or they should write you a citation for whatever it is that they stop you for. Okay. Here's the most important thing. Don't try to argue your case on the side of the road because you're going to get caught up. You're going to get twisted in answering those questions. They're going to ask you questions that's going to cause you to say something that you may not have said, would not have said after you've thought about it.
Hmm.
hmm And if you begin to explain, you're going to say something that's going to put information into the record because you're being probably recorded that
Hmm.
you hadn't have said. So the more you talk, the deeper you get into legal trouble.
Hmm.
I
Boy,
want to say
because
that
oh,
again.
go
Go
ahead, go ahead. No,
ahead.
well, no, because I was also just thinking about what you said, and just always remember some of those shows to where they always say, like what you say can and be used again can and will be used against you in a court of law. Of course, that's reading you your rights, but
Uh-huh.
just like you said, if you say something in the heat of the moment, right, you're frustrated, you're angry, you call somebody out the name or whatever, then this is recorded, this is on record, and then they can go back and pull that, and that's not going to help in a case against you.
If you're on the side of the road and you're asked to give your license and identify yourself, do that. But I want you to remember this one thing when you're on the side of the road. Silence cannot be misquoted.
Hmm.
Silence cannot be misquoted. So if you would be quiet, then you won't have something to be repeated in court that you said out on the side of the road that after you've thought about it, you have a different perspective on it. And now you're trying to correct it in court. And now that's going to be a contradiction and you're going to impeach yourself in a court of law. So
Hmm.
be quiet, be complicit, stay calm, and just drain the swamp of emotion when you're stopped by the police if you can, and you give yourself a better chance of being alive.
Understood. And just going back to what you said a little bit earlier about this scenario, you said you didn't have enough information. So what does a police officer need in order to be able to say, I'm gonna pull this person over? Or what is it? Can you just walk us through that potentially? Like, I know you've never been a police officer, but can you just walk us through, like, what might give them just cause to say, this person, let me pull them over?
Yeah, yeah. Remember, the police officer's out for protection and safety of the community. So
Hmm.
often, sometimes we put ourselves in the victim role, and we think the police is after us. The police is after us. They're going to get all black men. They're going to do this and do that. That's not always the best narrative to play out in your mind.
Hmm.
We need to think about why the police is there, even though it doesn't always work out well for us sometimes, right? The police is here to
True.
serve and protect for the community. There have been times all of us have called the police and have been glad to see the police come. All right. And we're glad to see the police. We're upset if the police doesn't come. Okay. So
True.
here's what you want to remember. Okay. The police can stop you for any reasonable cause. If your tail light is out on your license plate, you can be stopped.
Hmm.
If your license plate is expired, you can be stopped. I got stopped a few months ago. My tag had expired, and I
Hmm.
didn't even know it was expired. Remember, police have these eyes, and their eyes are trained to find the little things to stop people for that often we done forgot about.
Hmm.
Number two, you don't know when you got a brake light out. So often, sometimes we have a brake light out. Only one brake light is working. Well, if the police officer see you got a brake light out, they can stop you for that.
Hmm.
Okay. So brake lights, tail lights, if the light over your license plate is like any reasonable cause the police officer can stop you. The main thing is you got to stay calm and don't be agitated when that stop takes place. And don't try to explain. My God, don't try to explain. Just
Hmm.
don't talk. and do what they ask you to do.
I got you. And even like a swerve, right? Like, like a subtle swerve, or, slowing down too much, going too fast. All these things are potential reasons. So,
Exactly.
man, okay. So they, so there are some reasons of generality in which you could be pulled over by an officer, but at the same time, they're looking for things, not necessarily to pick on you, but they're looking for things to be able to keep us protected and to be able to keep protection on the road.
Yeah, and you don't know what they know. Okay, they could have had
Mm,
5 cars come through the neighborhood that look just like yours, and there could have been some type of a drug deal, some type of a robbery, burglary, and your car fit the profile of another person's car, and you didn't even know that. But the officers know that because this has been going on now for 2 or 3 weeks in that neighborhood. So we have to give them the benefit of the doubt when we're out there, so that we don't immediately assume that we are a victim. Just sometimes we're doing stuff that ain't right. And I'm not saying that every time some of us are stopped, it's because we did something wrong. But the point is, we just have to give ourselves a more healthy narrative in our mind when we encounter the police, in order to
hmm.
give ourselves a better chance to get home alive.
Understood. Understood. Y'all, it is Thursday. The Speaker Success in the Morning is Thursday Law Talk here with attorney Fred Jones. We're about to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with more Speaker Success in the Morning in just a minute. Are you a new or budding entrepreneur looking to set your business up for success? Profit Mode is here to help you navigate your entrepreneurial journey with expert education and services. From tax planning and bookkeeping to selecting the right business structure, Profit Mode has you covered. They'll even educate you on how to properly set up your business for building credit so you can grow with confidence. Profit Mode's mission is to provide you with the tools and guidance you need to establish a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to take the next step, we're here to support your goals. Let Profit Mode help you turn that entrepreneurial dream into a reality with the knowledge and services to back it up. Your success starts with the right foundation. Contact Profit Mode today to get started. All right, family. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Speaker Success in the Morning. We are currently 43 minutes after the hour. It is Thursday, May 15th, 2025. And y'all, we're having a great show today. Okay, I love me some Virginia real estate. Says, have a favor field day. Good information. Love to hear it. CWQ says, I've been pulled over. I keep my hands on the wheel and immediately tell the officer that I have my weapon on me. Then I wait for their instructions. CWQ, love to hear it. Love to hear it. Making educated decisions out here. Making educated decisions. So, family, y'all, welcome back. Like I said, 43 minutes after the hour, getting ready to roll into that 7 o'clock hour. But y'all, oh goodness, just like I said before, y'all. Man, it's just been an honor, right, to be able to rock with y'all. It's been an honor to be able to, share not only this information, but share the platform, and for you all to be joining us at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time in the morning. This is not something that I take for granted. It's not something producer Britt takes for granted. But we just really we got nothing but love for y'all. Right. The Lucid Experience. Send me a DM. Lucid Experience said, John, what's going on, man? Y'all all right over there? I said, yeah, man, we're good. I said I had a little stomach bug. He said, all right, man. I was just checking. I was just checking on y'all. So yeah, so now we're back, and we will dive in a little bit more and then get ready to put a bow and a ribbon on it thus far. So Attorney Jones, based on what we've talked about today, um, and based on us really unpacking some of these scenarios, and unpacking some traffic stop type information to make sure that everybody makes it home safe, is there other things that we haven't discussed or we haven't hit on that you want to make sure that the people are aware of, especially having your experience and having your legal background? Is there other information?
Yeah, one of your subscribers there just mentioned that she would inform the officer that she has a weapon. That was very important, and that's very important. When you're approached by the officer, if you have a weapon and you have a permit and it's a legitimate weapon, officer, I have a weapon in my car. At the right moment, let that officer know that, because
Mm,
now that officer knows that you know that you should disclose that information to them, and they now know how to approach you. The more you can let the officer know that you are a person who understands and knows your rights without doing it in a combative or argumentative fashion, the better
yeah.
off you are. Like I said, when you put your hands on the wheel, you're immediately saying to the officer, I'm aware that this is a tense situation here, or it
Yeah.
could be, and I just want you to know that I'm not about to do anything that's out of order.
Mm, I
So
think you
those,
said something key there. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. You have postured yourself in a protective mode so that all parties will be safe. So you've really, without saying a word, you've spoken a whole paragraph.
I like how you hit on without doing it in an argumentative or combative way. I like how you put that, because many times it's not what you say, but it's how it can be how you say it. And
Exactly.
you know that can stir up something. CWQ said the officer has always said, "Thank you for letting me know that. Move slowly when getting your license and registration." Mm,
There you go. There you go. Very important right there. Very important. If you want to get home alive, the whole idea is alive, folks. Alive. And remember this: the police officer has the power and the authority to give you a death sentence on the spot.
mm. Talk a little bit more about that. Just talk a little bit more about that.
You running your mouth, you're arguing with the police, you're raising your voice, you're being defensive. Last time I checked, about 99.9% of police officers who kill somebody get acquitted.
Mm,
You
wow.
now have, so if they decide to shoot you and kill you, you have just gotten a death sentence on the spot. So the police officer has been the judge, the
Mm,
jury, and the executor. They have that power and that authority in this country, unfortunately, or, you know, that's just practical talk right there. Now we can get on here and we can get philosophical and we can get all deep and stuff, and we can
yeah.
talk about the Constitution and we got the right to do this and the right to do that. We saw what happened in Memphis. That young man should not be dead, but
Mm,
those officers were acquitted. I'm not saying that was the right verdict. No, I don't think it was. We've also seen people get shot in the back, and
mm,
people and the legal system has found the way to justify some of this. Am I in agreement with it? No. But the reality is a police officer can give you can shoot you, and if it's only you and one other you out there on the side of the road with an officer, and it's just one person, it's 1 or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, who's going to explain that? There's no
mm,
witnesses.
mm.
So keep that in mind if you want to get home alive. And we really have to teach this to we have to have the talk. And when having the talk, I think we got to really position ourselves by way of saying the officer wants to get home alive, and so
Mhm.
do you. And even though the history of police officers in America has
Yeah,
not been a beautiful thing from a certain perspective, right? The
that's true.
history has not been good, right? We have to realize that we are in a new era and a new age. And if we want to get home alive, and if the officer wants to get home alive, we got to be smart about it and acknowledge them and listen and inform them, tell them what you're going to do, and be calm and smart.
All
That's about
right.
that. That's just bringing the coffee black.
Yeah, you got to. Okay, I want to hit this other scenario, and we're about to get ready to wrap there. I want to hit this scenario though. During a traffic stop last month, I
Hmm.
placed my phone on the dashboard to record the interaction. The officer noticed. He ordered me to turn it off, saying I was violating his privacy and could be arrested. I complied because I didn't want the situation to escalate, but later learned from friends that recording might actually be legal. What's the truth here? And how can I document interactions for my safety without creating additional problems?
Okay, right off the bat, I don't know if I don't have a legal position on the recording. Okay. I don't have a legal position to say if it's legal or illegal. I don't see a problem with recording. If you're going to record, if the officer said turn it off,
Mm-hmm.
if the officer said turn it off, I think you have to turn it off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then you got a conflict and a problem going. Now, you may
Mm-hmm.
have the right to record your conversation, but to
Uh-huh.
have it on the dashboard before the officer could be a little bold, and it would be like turning the camera around and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna video you while you telling me to take out my license and my wallet." That's not gonna go over well. You see that right there? So
Triggering for sure. Triggering. Yeah.
yeah. So whether the phone is on the dash or in his face, if he says turn it off, you're gonna have to turn it off. Um, if you're going to record and document, then you might should have put the phone somewhere on the seat or on the floor, someplace to get the audio recording. You want to
Yeah.
be careful with that one because you are asking for a fight.
Hmm. Yeah, that that is one of those things that in recent history, especially like seeing recordings of traffic stops and different things like that, when there is a phone out, it does seem like either the officer steps up and like the emotions are really charged in that situation because it's like, oh, this is you feel that I'm gonna come this way, so I'm really gonna bring this level or this type of energy. Oh, hold on, wait. CWQ says, I feel that if your intentions are pure with the traffic stop and the officer, why record them? Hmm.
Well, now, okay, I can tell you, your intentions can be pure with an officer or any member of the court or of the law. Pure intention doesn't mean that you're going to be found innocent or not guilty. Your intentions can be good,
Mm,
but that doesn't mean you're going to do not going to do something illegal or unlawful. Okay,
mm,
so just because your intention and a lot of people get in trouble with pure intentions, and here's how they get in trouble. I intended this, I intended that. Intention is one thing, but action is another.
mm,
Most people are convicted out of their own mouth. Most criminals are convicted out of their own mouth. How many times have you gone to court or watched court TV and you've seen where the defendant never takes the stand? And John, this sun is coming right in on me this morning. The
I see
defendant
it.
never takes the stand. Okay. Okay. And when a defendant never takes a stand, there's a reason why the defense don't take the stand. They don't take the stand because they don't want to get their words twisted or they don't want to get caught in cross examination.
And then they would hang
They would
themselves. I don't
hang
wanna
themselves
I
or
wanna go there.
impeach.
Yeah,
They would impeach themselves.
yeah, yeah. Huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think this is I think this is a conversation that needed to happen. I think this is a conversation needs to happen, needs to continue to happen, especially you are a father of two boys, well now two men. We've been able to we've been able to grow up, and we've been able to make it through traffic stops because I've had my fair share of traffic stops and different things like that. And now I'm the father of two boys, so these are conversations that I'm gonna have to have as well. And I hope everybody out there who tuned into this episode today. I hope that you share this information with somebody. You have a conversation with somebody, or maybe you ask a question about how would you handle if you were pulled over at a traffic stop. So at least we can get the dialogue going to create a healthy dialogue around this topic, and be able to help people better navigate through it. Right there.
Yeah, you want to get home alive, okay? You just want to acknowledge the authority. Listen carefully, inform before you make any moves. Keep it calm, keep your voice calm, and exercise your rights very carefully. But always remember, you got the right to be wrong.
That's it. That's it. You all, this has been our Thursday Law Talk with Attorney Jones. And if you're in pain, you better phone Fred first. You can of course find Attorney Jones on Instagram at Fred Jones ESQ. And that's right there, Fred Jones ESQ. I know that's your best handle on Instagram.
That's correct.
Fred
Or
Jones ESQ or
FredJonesLaw.com.
or
FredJones Law.
FredJonesLaw.com. FredJonesLaw.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday Law Talk, Attorney Jones. Always a pleasure having you. And y'all, we're just gonna go ahead and just drop the final thought. We're 56 minutes after the hour, and just like I was saying a little bit before, these are conversations that we need to continue to have, and also this is how we're going to continue to raise the awareness in our community. All right. So, family, be sure to share this conversation with somebody. And y'all, remember, at the end of the day, the goal is to make it home safe for yourself as well as for the officer. Let's always keep that in mind. But family, this is Speak Your Success in the Morning. And I want to remind you to speak your success, believe in your greatness, and continue to create the life and business of your dreams. Why should you and why would you live any other way?